right, y'all. Y'all already know me, so let me tell y'all what I made. So I got these samosas. Okay, I'm gonna say inspired samosas because I'm pretty sure they didn't turn out like I wanted them to. But anyway, so go ahead and introduce yourself, friend.
All right, I'm Chantrell, and for today, I created a Indian curry dish. So it has chicken, spinach, zucchini. You know, it got vegetables in there. You got your protein in there. One-stop shop.
Okay, now what do we have?
And I'm Victoria, and I create this lovely butter chicken you see here. A lot of fresh herbs and spices in there, a lot of Indian flavor. You see the colors, looking good, looking great.
Of course, we got some rice, of course, to go with all that good old chicken. We got a little cilantro, fresh cilantro. So, all right, little sauce, go with some samosas. We're about to dig in, and we are going to talk. What's our topic today, y'all?
Toxic relationships.
Let's get it. All right.
Oh, Pastor Carter, let's take us away. Lord Jesus. All right, Heavenly Father, we just worship you. We are so grateful and give you thanks, glory, honor, and praise for another day. Lord, thank you for this time of fellowship with friends gathering together over food and most importantly, having conversation. Lord, we thank you for this food that we're about to eat, Lord, your nourishment for our bodies. Take out any impurities that are unlike you. And Lord, we just give you all glory, honor, and thanks. For it's in your son Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
And Lord, please take out the impurities in them samosas. Come on.
I'm gonna get some of this basmati rice here.
What are in these samosas?
It's an Indian seed. Actually, beef potatoes, peas, onions, and a whole lot of seasonings. Garlic, ginger root, cinnamon, which was a surprise.
I got some cinnamon in mine as well.
Okay, so I guess cinnamon is kind of a spice that they use.
The sauce. Okay. Thank you.
Now look at that. See that?
So, Stoney, what inspired today's topic?
So, what inspired today's topic is just because I think that we've all been through it. Like, we've all had to come to a realization that someone in our lives, you know, was toxic, or, you know, a relationship was toxic. So yeah, that's kind of what it inspired. I feel like it's a relatable topic that everyone's been through, and, you know, everyone can kind of talk about.
Okay. Sounds good.
So, first things first. Toxic. How do you define toxic?
I think I define toxic anything that is not helping me to grow, not helping me to build, not adding to my life, sucking energy from me. Like, I perceive it to be toxic. You know, just think about the warning labels on chemicals. You know, don't do it, stay away, you're not supposed to. They tell you that all the time. So the same thing with relationship. You get some type of toxic energy, you see the red flags, that's when you know, like, okay, this might be toxic. You know, how much can I take? You get to adding up the checklist of red flags and you go from there.
Right. When I think about toxic, it's like one of those things that kind of sneak up on you. So it could be, you know, yeah, you have, you know, moments where it's good, but then, you know, it gets to a point where it's an overwhelming sensation in the sense of, okay, every time I'm around, it's like, it's nothing that I can do right, or you always have something to complain about, or let's say the spotlight is on me and you find a way to take away the, you know, make it about you, or I'm trying to apologize, and or you do something wrong and, you know, you make it seem like it's my fault. So it's, you know, overwhelming, it's consuming. So yeah, it's after a while you just find yourself being exhausted.
You know, and that's kind of a point that I wanted to make about this toxic relationships is that you have to pay attention to like your physical, like just like it, with anything else, they tell you you need to pay attention to what's going on with you physically. So if at a certain point you start coming around this person or around this, friend, and I'm not even just talking about relationship as in romantic relationship, I'm talking about friends, even sometimes family, let's just talk about it.
Business, work-related relationship.
Exactly. And I think that a good indicator of that it's not right, it's not a good relationship, is just, paying attention to are you drained? Like you said, are you drained after interacting with them before you even go and interact with them? Mm-hmm. Are you really anxious even about you wanting to interact?
Or you thinking about, okay, I can't say this, or let me not do this because I'm
walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
Walking on eggshells. Y'all know I'm an introvert already, so it's already a certain amount of energy that's drained from me just within social interaction anyway.
Right.
Even if I'm with, y'all, and I love y'all, and once I get to the house, it's like, y'all know I crash, and y'all probably won't hear from me the next day. But I'm talking about a drain where it's like, emotionally, like you feel it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you don't never have any positive thoughts when you think back about your interactions with that person. I think that's like a good indicator that it's toxic. It's time to do some, some reevaluating of your friendship or your relationship
Right. So how does a person get to a point of, that really self-reflection and evaluation portion? Because if you have history or you've invested a lot of time, sometimes even if a relationship is toxic, it's difficult to, let them go. So how do you get to that point?
I think for everybody it's different. It's just an individual thing. Like everyone has to work towards that and towards that being able to be that woke about, what they're experiencing, what they're going through. People can put a blinder on you and say a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff that'll make you stick around and make you stay, make you feel wanted,
right.
Make you, and sometimes make you feel sorry for them, and then, you're kind of
guilt trip.
Yeah, so you're in a guilt.
And you're in a toxic cycle.
A toxic cycle of, of just guilt and being stuck in that. And allowing whatever to happen just because you're feeling guilty.
In a situation like that.
Tell me about the butter chicken process.
There was a very minimal marinating process. Actually, 15 minutes of marination. I think maybe overnight would have been a better thing. But it's not even in a sauce that you're marinated in. It's all just garlic, salt, pepper. That's all they require. And I think for me, I'm used to more seasoning being on my chicken. But however, all the seasonings that went to the dish, I didn't think I would need it. So I don't know. I think I expected more of a pop of flavor. It's not bad. Chicken is tender. I'm happy about that because I hate when chicken is rubbery. Yeah, I think I was just expecting more of a wow factor, and I'm not getting that from my chicken. Not for me. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
I thought it was gonna be I think of butter, I think of savory, succulent, you taste it, make you feel the type of way. So,
Right.
chicken is tender. Chicken is tender. It got a nice color to it, but I was like you were saying, I was expecting that pow like that. Yeah. Ooh, that moment where it's
like I gonna go to sleep after this. I'm not getting it.
Yeah.
Almost like a comfort food.
Yeah.
I mean, the presentation, it gives you that too. It gives you that it's gonna be that.
Looks can be deceiving, like those toxic relationships.
Good point. Let's just go ahead and get it out the way with, ladies. What we think of the samosas?
I love it. I've been into a spice on one point. It was really spicy. And I loved it. It was perfect. It wasn't too much. It was perfect spice. So yeah, I definitely am enjoying these samosas. Because I'm a fan of samosas. I've never had beef. I used to get chicken. So I was excited when you said you're making them. So yeah. So you definitely executed. The crisp is good on the wrap. It's cute. I like it.
Y'all ain't gotta lie to me just because it's my channel. We ain't gotta do that. I said keep it as real as possible. Y'all don't have to do it.
But you know us,
Right.
You're not gonna have y'all.
And then I think they pair well with this drink you prepared too. So that is good. What are we drinking again?
So we are drinking.
Tasty.
This is called a fizzy pop.
Okay, fizzy pop.
Now this is I just made that up off the top of my head. This is a rum, some Malibu rum, some regular silver rum, and some raspberry and peach lemonade, and a little bit of pineapple juice. Something I couldn't do.
Yeah, but I like the samosa. It's good. It has your beef is good. I taste it. Did you use any potatoes? So I taste the potato. The potato is perfectly cooked. It's not, too soft. But it's not, undercooked where I can barely chew it. It's perfect. I love the wrapper you use, because it has like that nice flaky, crisp taste. I like, I'm about texture. So it has the texture is well balanced with the beef, the potato being soft on the inside, and then the crispiness and flakiness of the wrapper. So it's a hit. You did that, friend.
I'm very glad I did. Because last time I brought that little dry ass butter cake. Well, butter cake, I thought about that cake for a whole week. I was very upset about it.
But it was cute.
Well,
Once again, looks can be deceiving though. That's what it sounded like.
And let's talk about, I'm just going to go ahead and say it, the prize dish of the evening.
What's that?
Now we don't went over everybody else's dish, and you gonna ask who dish.
Oh, I'm a modest, person.
So let's talk about this curry chicken, Miss Chantrell. What's the process? Inquiring minds want to know.
So, I have my onions, my garlic, my, ginger, let that cook down, and then I just started to build my dish. So, on the side, I, built my sauce as far as my coconut milk, and I wish I would have had the red curry paste, but they didn't have any in the store, so I had to use this curry salt, which I'm not really feeling, but, I have to adapt. A little bit of soy, and just a little bit of everything. So, some other spices.
54 ingredients later.
Yeah, 54 ingredients later. So I hope y'all like it. Hope you enjoy it.
Nice bold flavor.
It's a pow. So, this says, have you ever found yourselves being the toxic person?
Being it? I have.
I didn't think that one was coming.
Good question. But I think part of growth, part of growth is being able to recognize different things within yourself.
Come on,
So if you,
I'm sorry.
so if you find yourself always pointing, out faults in someone else and not looking at yourself, you really, not evolving and growing in a way. You haven't reached the point where, you truly practice self-awareness. So I think it's important that you look and observe other people, not necessarily judging them, but, hey, out of love, depending on the type of relationship you have, being able to go to that person and pointing certain things out to them. We do that for each other. But then, if you bring something to me, or, just knowing how I've been in different relationships, you come to a point where it's like, I can't keep blaming everybody else if I keep getting the same results. But everybody don't rise.
It's like you're the common denominator, not being able to see that.
Right. But I've definitely, in my younger days, in my, early 20s, I was, in a romantic relationship where, I had, become the type of person where I was codependent, and I really, depended on that person to, make me feel happy and complete. And it wasn't until after I came out of that relationship that I started to do some, deep work and self-reflection, and some different things came to my attention, that I started to work through those different issues. that were, you know, deeply rooted to childhood issues. So yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Being real honest and
You
transparent,
jumped
you know, transparent.
We definitely appreciate it.
I'm just jumping into another samosa out here. I don't have all that transparency.
You want to pause on the samosa and give us a...
Give us a tidbit.
But no, I can relate to the codependency piece. That's something for me. I discovered that, you know, I didn't know I was codependent. You know, I thought my idea of codependency in my teenage mind is something I just kept and didn't try to, you know, go back and reevaluate or learn more about. So as I went through college, I'm pretty sure that I could have been toxic, but I got to a space where, you know, you get this heartbreak feeling and you don't want to go into relationships the same. So for me, I was navigating relationships differently for what I thought was going to be like, you know, this end all be all, like this perfect, like I'll never get my heart broken again type of situation, which I think became toxic to people around me because they looked at me as being this person that was being, you know, picky per se. When I felt, you know, I'm just like, I have standards, I have morals, and if I keep these standards at a certain point, then there's no way I can get my heart broken again. So I found myself, you know, being in situationships a lot, which is toxic in itself, when you don't have any clear and defined boundaries with a person. You know, that's with friendships, that's happened with relationships, romantic relationships, even like with my own parents, you know, not having any boundaries with them. So I feel like it's just been in every aspect of my life, all the relationships that I've been in. There's been a lot of toxic pieces and things that I picked up on from other people that I think I naturally started to, you know, exhibit myself. So I definitely think I've been a toxic person, but I also been amongst a lot of toxic people. And when you're in a certain environment, it's hard not to pick up certain traits. So it's like you have to also look at the environment you're in. So when you do start to do that self-reflection that you were talking about and change and get to that point, like, you really have to take yourself out your comfort zone, take yourself out the environment where you picked up those internalized behaviors and, you know, just start fresh. And that's been the hardest part is like, you know, realizing that it's okay to start over. Because, you know, you get into your comfort zone, it's just like, well, at least I know what I'm getting. Right. What you get, you know, you don't have to keep the hand you dealt. You know, that's not always the case. So I think for me, it was realizing that I can start over as many times as I need to. And it's okay because it's okay for me. And not trying to please other people.
And you don't have to settle.
Right.
You don't have to settle. I think it's helpful when you, like when you do make that transition, the company that you keep. So, you know, when you're coming out of that toxic situation, you know, making sure you're surrounding yourself with people that are completely different than the environment that you just came out of.
When that does happen, and when you do identify those, and you do and then identify that environment, you know, and you know that you can't take that environment with you to this new place, how do you then deliver that, or how do you relay that to people that might not have been, you know, a direct target in it? You know what I'm saying? A direct,
like collateral damage.
Yeah, you know, but they are part of the environment. Right. How do you make that decision? You know, if you know, like you were saying, just to leave them there.
I think it's hard. You definitely have to have a certain, like anybody who's been in toxic involvement, we'll say that, any type of toxic entanglement, if you will. I feel like there's a certain level of love and care that's in that relationship. You know, so if I love and care about this individual, no matter who it is, my mom, dad, whoever, I have to be able to have a conversation with them. I think first and foremost, no matter how hard it is, you have to start the conversation. Because you can't leave and not start the conversation, because that just, you know, leaves a lot of doors open. And then you get this issue with I don't have closure, or the other person doesn't have closure, and they keep coming back around because you left that door open for them to do so. So now you got this revolving door, and like you stuck on that wheel again. So I think it's important to sit down and have that conversation and let them know, like, hey, even though you're not directly impacting me in this way, you know, let me let you know my experience and what I'm going through and why I'm doing what I'm doing, so that if I do need to come back to this environment for whatever reason, not to necessarily be in another relationship or anything, but just to let them know it's not you. Yeah. This is something I have to do for me. I think that's an important piece. But also letting it might be something about them. You know, I think right now for me, I'm thinking of like, you know, my sister, for instance. Like, let's say my family, there are a lot of things that I learned anyway from my childhood that kind of stuck with me that haven't exactly been, you know, the healthiest, you know, behaviors that I could have learned from my parents. And I feel like for her, I have to leave that environment, but I don't want her to think I'm leaving her. But I also want to let her know my experience so that she doesn't get into that cycle. While she's still young, I want to be able to help her out. So I think if it's somebody like that, you got a younger person, like a sibling, or even like a cousin, or it could be an aunt or uncle, somebody that's also in your life that happens to be around the same people that you're trying to get away from. I think just letting them know your own experience and being honest about it is important.
And I think that this, I think it's been some of my struggle as well, as far as like deciding, you know, move back to Arkansas, stay here type of situation. You know, even though my mind was pretty much set before COVID and everything took place. Yeah, because there are some toxic situations as far as, you know, mindsets and things back home that I feel like stifle me a little bit and put me in a space that I'm not exactly sure would be very helpful for me right now. So it's like I'm kind of like in between that place of, am I ready to go ahead and just confront that? You know what I'm saying? Confront that head on and then and go ahead and do the move, or am I gonna go back and then fall back into, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that I am strong enough. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that I have, I've done enough self-searching and soul-searching and, you know, self-evaluation and all of that. I feel like I've sat back and done all of that. But it's tough, you know? It's tough because it's like you never know really until you get back into that environment.
And love is strong. Love is strong. Like, you know, there's been many times where I thought love is the reason I was doing something when I like, you know, Chantrell was talking about, I had to really look at myself like, what is it about me that I'm missing? What am I lacking? What am I trying to get from this person that I don't have already? You know, what do I want from them? Knowing they can't give it to me, but yet I keep going there and seeking it. I keep hurting myself essentially, emotionally, you know, getting stuck. Because I wasn't ready to, you know, confront things within myself. So I think, you know, like you said, you feel like you're strong enough, but if you have a chance to confront it earlier, you know, why not take it? Like, ask yourself what's holding you back, what's hindering you from going ahead and confronting it now before you get there. Right.
I don't know if even going back, you know, should even really, you know what I'm saying?
Be realistic. Gotcha.
Be realistic, because I'm like, you know, even with having the conversation, you know, it's still, you know,
like they don't see what you see.
Yeah. And then even with this, it's like I'm not even necessarily talking about an individual. I'm just talking about like the environment and the mindsets, you know, and cause you know that's home.
Gotcha, right.
You know, so it's a little different. So it's a lot of stuff.
Right.
You know, back home, a lot of things to think about and a lot of things to, you know, I guess some conversations that need to be had, but others that have been had, and it's just like, what?
Fall on deaf ears. I guess that's the point I get to. Like, if I've already tried to have a conversation with you on multiple occasions, and you still not hearing me, I'm gonna get frustrated. And then at that point, I feel like I've done everything that I possibly can. And so I don't feel like I'm obligated to have to come to you yet again about the same issue. And I've already said my piece and I already tell you, like, you know, hey, if it happens again, like, this is where I'm at. And if you don't heed the warning, you know, everybody can't move forward with you. So I think coming to, you know, just having that confidence and coming to terms with, like, even if you try to have a reasonable adult conversation with someone, everyone is not at that level. And being able to accept that, you know, you get the closure, but they may not. And that's not your responsibility to give them that. So that's something I have to learn.
That's a good lesson.
Yeah. It hurts. You know, it hurt. It hurt. It wasn't easy. Like, you know, I shed some tears and, you know, really, you know, struggle with it, but it's like at the end of the day, I'm gonna choose me first. I have to.
It's like the thing, like I hope that you're okay.
Right.
But you know,
and I'm a pray for you. I, you know, don't wish nothing bad upon you. Like, I want you to have all the success you want. But I gotta choose me.
And sometimes love is letting go. That's
Right.
That self-love right there. That's the first part. You gotta have your self-love.
Right.
Like they always say, if you don't have nothing to give, you can't help nobody else. You don't pour into yourself first. So
Right.
I think that goes with that too.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. I'm gonna deep it today.
Deep dishes, you know, deep dive in the conversation.
I mean, hey,
Ain't
it's all
giving you
about
life
growth.
jacket or
Right.
nothing.
It's all about growth, you know?
Right. Here on Growth Spurt. That's
Yeah,
what
you
I'm
know.
on.
Right.
But that's the thing, you know, it's not, and it's not just a one-time like process. Like you are constantly having to reevaluate the people around you, the company you keep. Like you brought up the workplace, you know, is this the right environment? Am I working in the right environment? You know, is it helping me be the best that I can be? Is it bringing out, you know, am I happy to come here? You know, things like that. Which I mean, that's not, everybody's not always happy to come to work, but you know, just like 9 times out of 10, am I enjoying what I do?
Yeah, because I left a job that I felt like was killing me, like literally killing me. Talk about a toxic environment, like a support, like it was to a point, like you said, you don't always be happy to come to work. It might be a day you just, you know, it's an off day. I'm exhausted. It's been a long week. You know, could be a lot going on, depending on the line of work you're in. But I was going to the job feeling like if I gotta go here another day, I don't know if I'm gonna make it out the bed tomorrow. Like if I come back to this place in this environment. So that for me was like a huge thing. Like, okay, I'm done. I gotta leave this place. This place is not good. It's a toxic environment. I gotta go.
I had a job where I felt like I was drowning. Like I would come, like be drained by the end of the day. Go home, go to sleep, wake up, do it again. Go home, go to sleep. That ain't living.
Yeah.
So,
Just to do it all over again. Come on, just to do it right back all over again. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've definitely had my share of jobs that have been like that. Some that I just held on to a little bit too long until, you know, so I had to let them go. And then being able to also confront that in the workplace is a whole different, it's a whole different ball game.
And you thinking about your, you know, financial safety.
right.
Absolutely.
Like I need this job, you know.
You know. At the end of the day, you know, that could be tougher than a relationship, you know, because you have to weigh out all of those options. You have to live.
Right.
So,
Right. Have security and not feel like you got a target on your back because you said something. So, it's a very tough situation to be in.
I just think that it's important to just, like you said, be self-aware and
Be honest.
you know, just be honest. I feel like that if you cannot have a open, like for y'all, for instance, if I didn't feel like I could come and have an open conversation with y'all and talk honestly with y'all, I would have to think like, okay, well, what, you know, are they associate?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, and that's okay to be able to, you know,
Differentiate.
you know, between them, because everyone's not going, like you said earlier, be at that level, you know, and it's you know, you just have to be able to do that, and people have to be able to understand. And then my thing is, if it's not reciprocal, that's a big indicator of me that something is toxic.
Yes.
Something's spoiled.
Yes.
Something's spoiled.
Yes.
Milk is spoiled. Go down.
Right.
Because, yeah, and to be honest with y'all, that has only in probably the past 4 or 5 years that has become really important to me, and I really understood what that meant, what that exchange was, and what it really looked like. So, you know, at that point, I had to do a lot of, you know, reevaluating. But I will say this, because it can get addictive. You know, cutting people out. So you said, and that's it. You know, and it had gotten to that point where I was like, you know, people were almost disposable to me at a certain point. Just being honest.
I can relate.
You know,
Ain't gonna talk about me phone numbers I had because my cutoff game was strong. I was
You
throwing the
know.
whole phone away. Like